across to the World Economic Forum in Davos. That's where the action is. Supriya, a rather packed day one. Tell me, what's the highlight on day two besides Modi's speech, of course?
The Congress Centre, and the Prime Minister is going to be making his keynote address from here, the plenary session, and I've got some of the tallest names from Indian industry with me right here. This really is a big moment as far as India is concerned. This is perhaps the biggest that I remember of. What's your big expectations? It's a countdown to the Prime Minister's speech.
For me, he being here at this moment is fantastic to make the plenary speech. I'm expecting him not to talk about investment, but to really talk about the world view.
That's right.
That how does he think, what's happening in the world, and how India's role, not as only as an attractor of investment, but also a strategic role for India in the global arena.
So it isn't just a salesman's role that he has to play today, he has to be a statesman to take this opportunity. Can India stake claim to being a more credible player in the global economic order?
Oh, absolutely. I think India is probably the most shining star in as far as economic situation around the globe is concerned. Not only that, India is one spot I would call which is open for business never before. As the world is retreating, Europe is retreating, we see the US retreating, India is opening up. So not only that he will come and make a pitch for this country, and I'm sure a pitch which will be much liked, much seen, and we're open for business.
We are open to business at a time when there's a lot of global antipathy to globalization, really, especially from the developed markets. Indian industry very keen to hear the Prime Minister. What's your broad expectation?
I think it's extremely important how we can connect with the global economy versus Indian economy to leverage the economic growth and opportunity for our country. Not only that, how India can be the catalyst role for the sustainable development of the global economy by mitigating the climate risk and contributing for the renewable energy. I think that's the biggest achievement from the India side.
All right, so plenty of expectations as far as Indian industry is concerned. This is where the action will be. If my cameras can pan across, actually, let's just give them a view of how it enters. This is the Congress. This is the entry to the Congress Hall. This is the lobby, and this is where the Congress Hall is. If you can pan up right there, this is where the Congress Hall is, and the Prime Minister is going to be making his keynote address at the plenary session here. He's the first Indian Prime Minister in over 2 decades to talk. I've got Deepak Bagla of the India Invest Forum talking to us right here on ET now. Hi everyone. All right, he's from the India Invest Forum. Of course, someone who's been very crucial. A very quick take on the Prime Minister's speech. What is the world expecting him to say today?
I think everyone's looking forward very anxiously. Are you seeing the energy and the vibrancy here?
Absolutely.
And that is what happened at the dinner last night too. So everybody is looking up to him.
You were a part of the global CEOs who met the Prime Minister last evening, the dinner that he hosted. What were the broad things that were being discussed?
So the 3 broad trends which were very clear last evening was, one, everybody mentioned about the new India which is coming out. A new India which is open, a new India which is committed, and a commitment which all of them are now comfortable in making to new India. And everybody lauded the Prime Minister's efforts, his ability to take strong decisions, to take India to the next level.
Did they ask for any more reforms? Are they talking about land? Are they talking about labor? Are they talking about construction permits and things like that?
You know what is interesting? In fact, we had a company called Vestas, and the global CEO got up and mentioned that the fastest he's been able to execute a project anywhere in the world was in India.
Super.
And he said this is the amazing change which he's witnessed in the past 3 years. So everybody was obviously lauding the Prime Minister on the entire ease of doing business rankings and the jump which he made, and asking him where he wants to go next, and he said for him it doesn't end, it's just the beginning.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bagla. We'll connect with you once the Prime Minister has spoken. This really is a big day as far as India is concerned, and I've been telling you, just to give our viewers, it's not very often that you're allowed inside the Congress Hall with cameras in Davos. It's very rare, and it's happening because the Prime Minister is here, and the Indian delegation is perhaps getting a little bit of a better treatment than we've got in the past. So this is the annual meeting hall. This is the Congress Hall where the plenary session, the keynote is going to happen. This is also where the India reception happened last night, and if I can just take my cameras, what you see right behind me there in the far end, if the camera can zoom across, is something called the sliding doors. So the keynote speaker, and that is the Prime Minister, will come from the sliding doors. Those are also the sliding doors that Shah Rukh Khan came through last evening, but those are the sliding doors that he comes through. He makes this very small appearance, and then of course he goes in to make his big speech. So as and when we get more voices, and what we're hearing from Indian industry is not just the Prime Minister making a big pitch for globalization is not just the Prime Minister making a big pitch for staking claim, but they want the Prime Minister to make to stake a claim to be a more credible force, to be a more credible player in the economic world order. And I think Uday Kotak perhaps put it best. He needs to be a statesman today and not a salesman. It's back to you in the studios. I hope you've got a flavor of what we're doing here at Davos. Our cameras inside for the Prime Minister's keynote address.